Ashley, the Monogram Mompreneur, and in today's video I'm going to talk to you all about fast frames. So if you're new to the embroidery world, you may not know that fast frames are available for a multi-needle machine. Traditionally, embroidery machines come with hoops, but fast frames are just like in the name. They're super fast. They are a must-have if you have a multi-needle machine. So what's the difference between a hoop and a fast frame? Well, hoops traditionally you have two little pieces and you put them together and then you tighten around whatever you're embroidering. With fast frames you use sticky stabilizer and you place your item on the sticky stabilizer, not having to hoop it, it just kind of lays on top of it. This makes embroidering hard to hoop items super easy and a lot quicker, and you don't get that big hoop burn around your item. So I rarely hoop anything anymore. I love to use my fast frames and I love to do something called floating. What that means is, let me show you for example on a shirt. When I'm doing a shirt, this is the 8x8 hoop that I use for all my applique shirts. What you do, of course you would center it and make sure it's centered, and you just clip. I use little clips for mine. This is an old shirt I found from my daughter's second birthday. So ignore the wrinkles, it hasn't been ironed. But and then you just put it on the machine. So it's super easy. You can do this with bags, with hats, with applique shirts, pretty much anything. It's such an easy way, especially for hard to hoop items. Fast frames are the way to go. So let me show you more about how you put it on. So you want to make sure when you buy the fast frames, you buy the one that's compatible with your machine. So this one is the one that goes with my Brother PR 655 machine. That's the one I have linked on Amazon, but make sure you pick the one that goes with your machine. So this is the little bracket, the U bracket that goes on your machine that all of your fast frames clip into. So on the fast frames, you'll see that there's a little edge, a beveled edge, I guess. It's like a downward slope. You want to make sure when you're hooking it into your fast frame, you have to unscrew it a little bit and then you click it down, and you want to make sure you tighten the screw, and you want to make sure that edge goes right along with your frame. That way there's no bounce. I have accidentally hooped something upside down before and it created, let me show you the difference. When it's not down, it's going to create some instability with the bobbin. Make sure you clip it in the right way. So you have your bracket, and then I got the, I'm going to go ahead and put the bracket back on. It just slips right in to where your no hoops would go. Back when I first started embroidery, I bought the 7-in-1 frames off of Amazon, and I still get most of my frames from Amazon, so I will link everything below. But the 7-in-1 came with, I don't know the exact specifics, it didn't have it online, but this is kind of like a 7x7. I use this a lot for smaller applique shirts, and this is probably one of my most used frames because it's big enough for big 3 to 4 inch monograms and names. So this one is probably my most used, along with this curved frame came with the 7-in-1. This is what I use for my hats as well as for back of hats. I just learned this. So if you're doing the back of the hat, you would put your sticky stabilizer. You'd already have your sticky on, but then you would put your frame on and you would tag it down obviously to the sticky, and you could do like a website or whatever your client wants on the back. So that's pretty neat. Then you have a smaller frame, a square. This is a perfect one for smaller monograms. It's like 5x5. Perfect for smaller monograms. Then I have this one. I use this one a lot for names. It's a little wider than a square when I'm doing names on items like bags, and I need a full name, like a last name. These I don't use as much, but these are for pockets, for sleeves, for smaller items. I just I don't use these as much. I do want to try to embroider a pocket, so you might see it in an upcoming video. Okay, so this one I bought separate. This is, I believe, an 8x8 frame. I'll link it in the description box below. It's what I use for all of my applique shirts. Especially if you're doing bigger sizes, you're going to need a bigger frame. The 5x7 is a little tricky. To get a 5x7 design and a name on, you're going to probably ruin a few shirts by trying to wiggle it in, because you will hit the frame at the bottom and that could really hurt your machine. So make sure you pick the right size. So if you plan on doing a lot of applique, get this, the bigger frame, the square frame, and I'll link it below. Now this frame has been my new favorite. This is the, I think it's 7x14. Guys, a lifesaver. I do blankets. Last year I did the butt flap Christmas pajamas from Love That Cotton, and no one was selling the adult pajamas because I feel like no one had this frame and they couldn't do the name big enough on the butt flap. So these, I mean, this thing got worked last holiday season. It's perfect for if you're doing sweatshirts, like big names or big appliques. This one is a must-have if you're doing big items, big names, big monograms. So with these, some tips are to make sure you trace your design on your machine before you stitch it out, because your machine doesn't recognize that it's a fast frame, so it will try to stitch over the metal and then you're going to have an issue. So make sure you trace, and make sure, sometimes you'll hear it on some of my older videos, it makes like a rectangle and shows you the embroidery field of where it's going to stitch. Make sure you trace so you don't hit the sides and ruin your machine. Another tip is I use two different types of sticky. So this one is the XoXo sticky brand. It's a little more expensive. I get both these off Amazon and I'll link below. I kind of shied away from this one for a little bit because I haven't been doing as much apparel, but I use this XoXo sticky for apparel, like especially my baby items. So sticky stabilizer has like a little waxy piece of paper on the back and the sticky on this side. So this XoXo Sticky Plus, I believe that's what it's called. I'll link the exact one below. It's a little thinner, it's a little easier to get off your garment. This one I believe is Rolled Widener. I've been using this one a lot. It's a lot cheaper and it's thicker. And I've been using this for when I'm making my masks, any type of in the hoop project. I love it because it's thicker and I feel like it has a little more durability, so it won't collapse during the stitch out. So this one is great for backpacks, in the hoop projects. I don't know if you can tell the difference in thickness, but it's a little thicker. It is a little harder to get off of apparel, so whether it's your applique shirts, you might want to consider the XoXo Sticky. So with my sticky stabilizer, as you saw earlier, I use my clips, these little clips. I have wonder clips and these little clips. I've linked both below. Both are great. The wonder clips are a little more expensive, but you can see the difference in height. They're really awesome. So the great thing about sticky is you can patch things. So you see I've patched this hole a few times, and that's the great thing about it, is you can reapply. So I reapply in this hole, and then I can just use this, and I don't have to use as much stabilizer. So a lot of people don't overlap the sides. I guess it's personal preference. I like to have enough. Let's see if I can make one. So let me show you. And so what I like to do, do you hear the garbage man? It is 5 a.m. So just a little background while the garbage man is here. I do film all of my videos from like 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. while my kids are sleeping. So if I seem a little quiet or a little sleepy, that's why. So to have quiet videos, that's what I do. But the garbage man... Okay, so I've cut it to fit my frames. So this is how I like it to fit. I like a little overlap on my edges. Some people do it just to the inner edge, but I found sometimes it'll fall through. I don't know. I like a little extra stabilization. So you'll want to make sure that your groove is down, and you're going to flip on the side where the groove is up. So this would be your top, and I always put a mark of my center anyway, so it's probably a good idea to put your center mark so you know the top as well. So you put the sticky stabilizer on the back. Sometimes it's a little difficult, but then you just peel the waxy paper, you just card, and then you take it and you place on top. Make sure not to cover up the screw holes, and I just place, press, 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 and then I flip it and I fold it up. So do whatever your preference is. You can fold it up like I do, or you can just do the edges, whatever works best for you. And then you're ready to go. Okay, so after you've done it, I always like to mark my center. There's a notch here and there's a notch here. So I like to mark there, and here you can see, and then I will just draw my vertical center. Just so when I'm hooping my item, I know where my center point is. You could also find center here, but I feel like getting it straight on the frame is the most important part. So then you would put your item on, and then you would place it on the machine. You would just screw it in. And then you're done and ready to embroider. And then once you're done using the fast frame, you just peel it off, and then you're done. Let me know in the comments below, do you love fast frames, or is there something else you can't live without for your embroidery machine? As always, I will link everything that I talked about today in the description box below. And until next time, thank you so much for watching.